Welcome to
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hey,
Hi,
Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol. A Pluribus podcast, a podcast about Apple TV Plus's show Pluribus. My name is Catfish, and with me, as always, is someone whose anger is killed somewhere between 3 people and 11 million people. It's Bubba.
Catfish, I'm with you, and I've been with you through so many podcasts and so many breakfasts. I've seen you lick donuts. I am ready to dive in to this exciting new Apple TV show.
That's how you let people know they're yours.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
We are going to be covering episodes 1 and 2 this week. On this pod, we're going to have our ranking of the episode. That's usual for our podcast. Breakdown of the episodes, that's usual. And we have our weekly segments, that's usual. But these segments are new because the show is new. The segments are, which Twilight Zone episode are we in? Skinsuit of the week. You gotta laugh. And Pluribus or US. And we're going to have feedback from our loyal and our new listeners. And Bubba, this is exciting. You must have let people know you're much better on social media than I am. We actually do have some feedback for our first 2 episodes. So, Bubba, let's talk about what we're going to talk about. Season 1, Episode 1, entitled We Is Us. An astronomer's discovery turns the planet upside down. Carol Sturka, a curmudgeonly novelist, is terrified by this strange new world. And episode 2, Pirate Lady, a curiously familiar face introduces Carol to the bizarre new normal. So, Bubba, let's hear it from you. What is your rating for the first 2 episodes of Pluribus?
Catfish, before I give you my rating, I want to speak to you and our listeners who we love. Now, when you think about a post-show discussion podcast like we are, what do people want from it? You know, some people, a portion of the audience, they're listening to a podcast about an episode they just watched because they love the show. They love the episode. They want the host to come on and rave about the show, how great it is. They want to celebrate what they love. And listeners,
but are there others?
Are there others, Bubba? Maybe, but listeners, I'm going to warn you from the start, okay?
Oh, boy.
I saw the first episode of Pluribus, and I understood it was competently made, well made. It was interesting, yet I personally wasn't pulled in. I wasn't engaged. It was like I was admiring it from afar. And so, you know, if you're one of this percentage that want people to just come on and love it, then I've got some news for you. I loved the second episode. 9 out of 10 AFFs.
AFFs.
Yeah, 9 out of 10 Air Force funds. This second episode hooked me. It was weird. It was like I was a different person watching the second episode than the first. The first, I'm like, okay, I've seen a lot of zombie shows, a lot of apocalyptic shows. I get it, but I wasn't pulled in. Maybe Carol's curmudgeonly self kept me at a distance. But the second episode...
I don't know why, Bubba. I would have thought you would recognize a lot of yourself in her.
Hey, now. But that second episode, loved it. Loved it. So for these 2, because the second episode hooked me so much, I'm 9 out of 10. And let me just say, Catfish, we like to not talk about, you and I, our reactions to the episodes, because we don't want to, save it for the podcast. But you sent me a text, something along the lines of, boy, there's a character in this second episode you're going to love. And I'm going to guess who that character was. Do you want to say who this wonderful hero in the second episode was who made me love the episode?
It is bound to be your new idol. You're gonna push Joffrey off your mini throne in your house, and you're gonna put up Kumba Diamante. He is your new hero.
This guy is such an anti-Carol and so funny. I loved it. Admittedly, I loved all the thought-provoking things that the second episode made clear about the world. But then you throw in just a ridiculously cartoon, silly bit of fun, like Mr. How do you pronounce it again? Diabate? Wonderful. I loved it, loved it, loved
Diamante.
it. Diamante.
Kumba No, you're right. Kumba Diamante. It's Amante.
Okay, no problem. I loved it. That's all I can say, Catfish. That's me, 9 out of 10. Listeners, if you're the type who want somebody to rave about it, once we start talking about episode 2, I'm just going to go, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. So, hey, that's me, Catfish. What about you? What rating did you give the first 2 episodes of Pluribus?
Now, Bubba, this is horrible because you gave
Horrible.
it, what did you give it? AFF?
9 out of 10 AFFs, Air
Okay,
Force
you
Funds.
know we have to do doubles here. You can't be
Well, I had
mixing
double
up the
Fs,
letters.
AFFs, double Fs.
No, no.
No.
That's why I went 9 out of 10 double
Wait,
A's.
double A's?
Yeah, Air Force One a-holes. Because you know if someone's gonna be on it coming out of Air Force One these days, whether
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Kumba or Trump, they are pure D a-holes.
Oh,
Now
my
it's
goodness.
funny what you said about you weren't really emotionally invested in the first episode because
Yeah.
I just went to go see another movie
Oh,
about
yeah.
aliens
Hmm.
called Begonia, and I was not emotionally invested in
In
that.
that
I
film?
again in that
Okay.
movie, in the
Wow.
people in that movie,
Emma
and
Stone, Jesse Plemons. You didn't get emotionally
exactly.
invested.
I was
Wow.
not emotionally invested,
Okay.
and a lot of his movies do kind of put you a sort of an emotional distance. I
Oh,
thought it
yeah.
was a really good movie, but I was not emotionally invested. But not this one. I was emotionally invested in Carol's loneliness slash stress
Oh,
as
yeah.
soon as the world turned. I mean, I also found it fascinating the way Carol is handling the situation. I mean, she's being
Yes.
honest with them about how she feels, but she isn't going over the top, especially after she finds out what happens when she goes over the top and causes tantrums. I mean, for me, I would be like, these other people are dead already, so I'm just going to punish these aliens and have a tantrum every day and to force them to release people back, if that's even possible at this point. And we don't
That's
know whether it's possible
wonderful
or whether
point.
everyone has been
Wonderful point.
subsumed yet.
Wonderful
So
point.
I was in from the beginning, and I'm finding it fascinating the way Carol is dealing with this a lot more humanistically than I would.
Oh, wow. Catfish, we're both 9 out of 10. This is incredible. We love to say, listeners, who cares what we think? We don't care what we think. We want to know what you think. And we want you to reach out and join with us. Join us on
Join
this.
us.
Join us on this podcast. Our social media handle is at double PHQ. That's the word double, a single letter P for podcast,
Yep.
then the letters H and Q for headquarters at double PHQ on Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, something else I'm forgetting. We want to talk to you. Threads, that's it.
That's
Reach
it.
out and talk to you. We want to talk to you, and you tell us. Are our takes wrong? Are our takes right? Do you want to join us? Do you want to rebel against us and get mad at us like Carol gets mad at the
Right.
evil, smiley rest of humanity? I
And
love it.
also, we want you to tell us what your feelings are about this podcast.
No.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol. Let's try it again. Let's try it
Oh,
again. You got me. You got me. Okay, let's try it again.
I
You want
went real slow
you did.
because we care what you think about this podcast. We've lovingly named
Hi,
Hi,
Carol.
Carol.
Very good. That was as slow as possible, and I finally caught on. Thank you.
All
Thank you
right,
so much.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Start us off now. We want to talk about the things that happened in this episode, the things that literally happened. But I tell you, this show is going to bring up a lot of things. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Severance because the idea is about ego, death,
Yes.
and what does a person represent? So, Bubba, you've got some big questions you want to start out with here.
Yeah. So each week, probably here on our podcast, we've named Hi,
Hi,
Carol.
Carol.
We're going to ask you, we're going to try to say that in succinctly and in sync as much as possible. But we want to start off with one big question. And so
Mhm.
for me, after these 2 episodes, the question is, and episode 2, I think, really gets at it. Catfish, I want to know from you, listeners, I want to know from you, how
Mhm.
bad is the earth? Is humanity? Is this the end of the world, or can humanity survive? I'll go ahead and say what I think. And what I think is I don't really know, because a big thing is free will, right? Like the self
Oh yeah.
should have free will. But what's weird is in this new reality, people may have free will, may not. We don't know. But let me ask you, you listeners, a question. So, 8 million people recently died in one of these episodes, right? And so you've got to bury these people for sanitary reasons, for health. It's for the betterment
Right.
of for
Yeah.
the betterment of society. We've got to bury these 8 million people who've
Clean up
passed.
on Isle World.
Right. But let's say you are a person who is squeamish, who would normally say, I know this needs to happen for the betterment of Earth. Right now, you can't say, I don't want to do it. You will do it. And so your free will is being fought. It is for quote unquote the good of humanity, the good of the world. But do you, or the alien DNA, not DNA, this thing that's infected us, because we're not aliens, we're humans, but this thing that has infected us. And so now you don't have the freedom to say, yes, this would help everybody, but I just personally can't do it. It seems like you don't have that freedom. And if you don't, then I think in a lot of ways, humanity is screwed and this is the end of the world. I don't know. These are the thoughts that a great show like this makes me think. What about you, Catfish? How bad is Earth/humanity after this has happened?
Well, I think it depends on where you grow up,
Oh, great point.
and what you feel, how you feel about the world. I feel like this is a Western fear where we're very focused on the ego to be subsumed into groupthink. I mean, there are some Eastern religions that believe that we do, or the pinnacle of our achievement is to merge into a mass consciousness, right? But I want to be clear about this. I think about this in a very specific way,
Okay.
and maybe it's going to be proved to be wrong. But to me, this seems like there's no humanity left. This is
Wow.
an alien invasion. They say
Wow.
we are not allowed to kill animals.
Hmm.
That's not a human thing. There's not a different feeling there. We have been replaced.
Okay.
Our souls have been replaced by a alien hive mind.
Hmm.
I just and to say we tried not to kill anybody but had to speed up the process when we got busted is only going to help you in court if you're Trump.
Yes,
So
Trump
my
has the Supreme Court in this type of hive mind.
right. So I really feel like
Okay.
that we have been taken over
Wow.
by aliens. And so there is no humanity left except for these 11 people.
Fair enough. Is there a thought in your mind that to get rid of murder, drug addiction, and some of the ills that plague our world, there is sometimes the thought, especially in a lot of works of fiction, that yeah, we're better off letting somebody letting the aliens take over. So is but you're making it sound like you think this is the worst thing ever.
Well,
Is
okay, so I mean it all depends. Are you talking about the Earth? Because if
hmm,
you're talking about the Earth, I guess so. If you're talking about physical bodies, yes, no more physical bodies will be killed. But my supposition,
okay.
and people can think differently, is that we have lost 10 billion human souls.
Wow. Okay. Listeners, we want you to dive in on this big, big question. I want to get, I was going to go at times more granular about how, like, okay, everything's got to be for the good of everybody. And so if you think about our current world, especially here in the United States, where there's a lot of traffic and a lot of carbon emissions, we know
Right.
that asthma is higher in areas with a lot of, traffic and cars and stuff. And so shouldn't the aliens then say, okay, for the good of everybody, we're not going to have cars emitting stuff, but they don't care about that because Carol's flights, all these flights she's done, they released who knows how many carbon emissions, and
No.
so They
And
are stick and forget eating. Just kind of the natural way we live at times kills other living creatures. And so, I don't know. This is we're gonna see.
I mean, my supposition
Okay.
is that now on Earth there are 12 individual beings.
All
And it
right.
just turns out that one of those individual beings has 9 billion bodies to use.
I hope you're talking about my favorite character. How dare you? What do you mean use?
Well, no, I think
Okay,
Kumba is
thank
going
you.
to use some of those.
Thank you, thank you. He's got to sleep there. Okay, I'm kidding, or maybe not. Who knows how horrific this is? Let's do maybe one more serious thing, and then something fun, and then we'll really get into the meat of this podcast. And so, a big thing that this show creator Vince Gilligan wanted is he wanted, for lack of a better word, complete secrecy. He wanted people to go in knowing nothing. So, listeners, you tell us, did these trailers didn't they kind of gave away the story if you really paid attention, but
Yeah.
they also didn't, they weren't really heavily promoted. And so I'm sure a lot of people went into this going, well, what's this show going to be? How much did you go in, Catfish? How much did you know about Pluribus before you saw these first two episodes?
I mean, you are right that the trailer kind of the trailers kind of gave away a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, my only assumption was that for some reason a bunch of people had decided to take some sort of drug that made them happy,
That's
and for
what
some
I
reason
thought.
Carol was like, "F that, I want to be miserable."
Yeah, but because the donut licking was in one of the promos, I didn't know there was an alien component of this. I thought this was somebody saying, "Hey, this is great. Everybody should experience this." I thought this was humanity dooming humanity. And maybe in some ways it is humanity dooming humanity, but the alien part of it was the only part I didn't know. And I guess I don't mind it, especially if they keep saying, it's almost like the alien doth protest too much. We're not aliens. This is an invasion. How many times can
Yeah,
they
yeah,
say it?
exactly. This is an invasion. We will never hurt anybody unless we're threatened, in which case we'll speed the process up, and then
Right.
you got to break a few eggs, right?
We won't hurt
So,
anybody except you in 6 weeks when we figure out why you don't get the hive mind.
right,
Hi, Carol.
right.
Hi, Carol.
So, Bubba,
Yeah.
Hi,
here's
Carol.
one thing we're gonna do now. Look, we know Vince Gilligan worked on the X-Files
Oh yeah.
until he, broke out in Breaking Bad, which is obviously a very bit a lot different.
Hmm.
But and X-Files had to do with aliens. But you know what? I bet that Vince Gilligan was affected, like a lot of people were, by the original Twilight Zones. And so, what's great about the original Twilight Zones was there were a lot of episodes that were about aliens, but really what it talked about was really how aliens or the threat of aliens illuminated our humanity
Oh
or
yeah.
lack of humanity.
A
So
hundred
every week
percent.
we're going to pick an old Twilight Zone episode that we think most parallels this episode. Bubba, so do you want to start?
Yeah, I got one, and so it's not 100%, but let me say,
There,
Catfish,
none of them are going to be
none of them are
100%.
going to be 100%, but you pick this as something we should do
Yeah.
on the podcast that we've named. Hi,
Hi, Carol.
Carol.
Hi,
Hi, Carol.
Just a little late,
Oh,
little
damn
late
it.
Hi,
there.
Damn it.
Carol.
So anyway, here on the Hi,
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 Carol.
Carol
Hi,
podcast.
Carol.
I think this
Hi,
is smart
Carol.
because this show does have a lot of DNA, our DNA connection to the old Twilight Zone. For me, there's this episode called It's a Good Life. 6-year-old
Hmm.
Anthony has godlike mental powers, including
Opie.
including mind reading, and he separates his little town from the rest of the universe. The people there have to grow their own food. Supplies of common household items become dwindling. He's blocked television signals, like he controls everything.
Hmm.
And people live in fear of Anthony, this 6-year-old kid, and constantly tell him how everything he does is good. Anthony just goes and goes and goes. Anthony causes a snowstorm, which is going to kill off all the crops, and the town may face starvation. Anthony's dad wants to berate this kid, like, what have you done? But everybody's like, hey, you can't upset him. And so suddenly the dad even, bites the bullet and says, Oh, it's good you're making it snow, Anthony. It's real good. And tomorrow's going to be a real good day. It's like you can't even say the truth. Nobody, certainly none of the people who've joined, can say the truth about, hey, I've lost, I've lost myself. And so that's the Twilight Zone episode. These two episodes, specifically episode two, reminded me of. How about you? You got one that feels a little Twilight Zoney?
All right, Bubba. Well, again, like I said, none of these are going to match up, and there was a few that I thought of. But for this one, I'm going to say for the first two episodes, there was an episode called Number 12 Looks Just Like You.
Oh yeah.
In it, when people turn 19, society forces everyone to go a physical transformation that erases individuality. Now, but it's also a mental transformation. And the reason why I picked it here is because this transformation is justified because it's led to the end of war and hate in society, and it also has many health benefits. Now, spoiler alert, the female lead in the episode, number 12, Looks Just Like You, does not want to undergo the transformation, but she eventually is forced to. So
Oh man.
that's my Twilight Zone episode of the week.
Well,
And I
based
just
on
want
that,
to,
Catfish, does this series end with Carol being forced to join?
that would be real grim, Bubba. That would be real grim.
Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol.
All
Hi,
right.
Carol.
Now,
Hi,
listen,
Carol.
we're
Hi,
going to
Carol.
come do
Hi,
something
Carol.
else. We've got another, do we call it gamer segment here on the Hi
Hi,
Carol
Carol.
episode,
Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol.
podcast called You Gotta Laugh.
Oh yeah.
No matter what kind of show we've got here, I am convinced
Convinced.
that, especially in shows that are depressing, you've got to have some comedy to lighten it up. After all, we still are having laughs here in 2025 in the United States when things are looking very grim for us. So you've got to have some laughs to break it up here. So we're going to vote on our best chuckle from the episode. And Bubba, I picked five
Okay.
from throughout episode one and episode two. The first one is the scientist kissing the janitor.
Oh man.
And
If your
not
if your
because of
Fritos
any-
if your Fritos aren't gonna fall, at least you can get a little loving.
I mean, it's not a gay panic thing either. It's just
No.
funny. He's sort of looking
No.
at him and he's like, boom, and then he just plants it on him while he's trying to scrub the floor. And then the licking the donuts.
Oh.
And then they flash down to the sign that says, help yourself.
Oh, not good.
Number two, in episode number two, it's when after Carol causes the first freak out and all the hive minds are freaking out, and she drives somewhere and then sees someone sort of dangling. They have a crane and the guy's dangling, and he's scraping along the wall. She's trying to fix it. And then when they all wake up, she's like, I'm so sorry. And he says, we know, Carol, it's all right. As he's spinning around, he's like, it's okay.
Right. He must have fallen out of that cherry picker and now he doesn't care. He gets over it. He gets over it. So good. So good. Oh,
Obviously, we have to do the introduction of your boy Kumbo rolling
Yes.
around Air Force One. Carol looks over to Zosia and with like a frustrated, Zosia's like, it was available to whoever asked.
yeah.
That was a funny bit. And then when Carol, first of all, the snooty lady Locksme, who's got her son, she's complaining. They're sitting there eating, and Locksme is complaining about the way Carol speaks around her son. And Carol's like one-ups her by asking Locksme's son, so what kind of speculum would you use here?
Oh, my
And
goodness.
it's kind of like, this is your son who knows which kind of speculum to use. Those are my funny bits. Those are my choices. You want to pick one of those, Bubba? You want to go off the board as you
Well, I want to
are
go
wont
off the
to do,
board.
of
I
course.
want to go off the board and defend LACMA or LACME. However, Carol's outburst put her only child's life in danger, and so I'm with Carol, but Carol's got to do this smarter. And you can't put You can't put 8 more million people in danger of death like you did the last outbreak you had. So,
Whatever. They're already zombies.
good riddance. Okay. So, what you dismissing left me, I'm making you my laugh of the week.
All right, I'm gonna go with the guy who says, "We know, Carol, it's
Oh,
all right."
come
Well,
on.
especially when he's being scraped against the wall. That's what you deserve.
Walk it
All
off.
right, Bubba.
Yeah.
Look, listeners,
Yeah.
loyal listeners to the
Hi, Carol.
Hi
Hi,
Carol
Carol.
Hi, Carol. Hi,
podcast.
Carol. Hi,
Let
Carol.
us know if you've got your own choice for You Gotta Laugh. And now, Bubba,
Yeah.
it's what everyone's waiting for. It's for you to tell them what they just saw.
Well, let's get into it. It's a plus width modulation bouncing off the moon. It's the same data hitting every 78 seconds. It's coming from 600 light years away,
Uh-oh.
or as I like to call it,
Hmm.
North Dakota. And so it's a code that needs to be cracked. I really don't have much to say about this other than one little thing I did like is the two main guys who are investigating and discovering this are named Bob and Ray. And Bob and Ray are a great old radio comedy team. And so I like that. Certainly, I was fascinated. Like I said, I kind of knew the gist of the show, but didn't know that there would be this, extraterrestrial element of it. So
Hmm.
I thought it was good. I also thought it was an odd transition to the lab. Like there wasn't a great hand holding of like, okay, the one guy, I think it was Bob, who was like, hey, I know what they're trying, what this signal is, to cutting to the lab of like, hey, we are trying to make this thing the signal sent. So I thought it was a strong start, but again, it didn't pull me in necessarily emotionally into the show.
Well, I thought it was just funny because it's they speed ran this, right? You
They
see a
did.
lot
Let's
of
get to it.
movies and stuff like that where it's like someone doesn't believe for a while. That's the first 40 minutes of the movie. And within about 6 minutes or 4 minutes, that trailer was full of people yelling at each other. We've got Eureka, essentially.
What did you think about these lab techs, Jen and Dr. D? They're coming into the office. They're having their Sandy Pony donuts. They are sequencing a lysogenic virus, and
That's easy for you to say.
as I say it as slowly as possible, as I say the name of our podcast.
Hi,
Hi,
Carol.
Hi,
Carol.
Carol.
Hi, Carol.
It's
Hi, Carol. Hi,
these
Carol.
rats. But let me say, never take off your gloves. Never take
No.
off your
Mm-mm.
gloves. Yes, you've got
Mm-mm.
the little latex gloves on, but Jen, big mistake. Now, was this going to get out no matter what Jen did, Catfish, or can we at least blame Jen for screwing this up?
No, let's blame Jen.
How about Dr. D? He could have said, you have to stay in the room. I'll go get help.
Let's also blame Dr. D.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay. Again, the beginning of this, if you saw the 90s miniseries based on Stephen King's novel, The Stand, I wanted
Hmm.
them to start playing the song Don't Fear the Reaper because it was like, oh snap, everybody's in a trance, everybody's a zombie. How many zombie movies have we seen? And another thing about the show, until episode 2, you're thinking, well, the best thing about zombie movies is a movie. It ends. Even if it ends with the zombies winning, it's over. The Walking Dead said, well, what if we made a zombie movie that never ended? And I was very unsure, especially in this kind of beginning 15 minutes, what kind of show we were going to get. Did you like it, Catfish? It felt like you were engaged in this part.
I did like it very much, and I also like that. Again, I play your dim partner here, so forgive me if, for me at least, it didn't feel like they were doing a lot of hand holding here. And so I appreciated that they didn't slow down to like explain every step and then they went through it. And like you, I got to stand feel here, not just here, but when the truck crashes. That's really when Carol's outside the bar, when the truck crashes, of course,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
reminded of reading anyway. I'm reading The Stand over and over
Yes.
again, and somebody telling the guy who survived, who ended up being Gary Sinise in the TV movie, you got to turn off those pumps because someone's coming right for the pumps.
Oh,
So
man.
yes, got to stand vibe there for sure.
Now, one thing that we learn about Carol, the world's already going to hell, but it hasn't hit like global proportions yet, is that she is successful and unhappy. This is what's so funny is so many things we read about in TV shows we've done about it's creative people who are successful, but they're unhappy with their own success. I mean, Catfish, Winds of Lucaro, it's a 4-quadrant hit. Everybody loves it. I mean, this don't kill
Everybody
Ravan.
loves
I
it.
mean, this is great. And
This
yet,
is, Bubba, this is what this reminds me of, though, is something that I discovered right here when we were doing a live podcast, when I was describing a book I was reading, and I found out that was the first time I heard the word romantasy. And so I had to stop reading that book series right away when I realized
oh
you
no.
you were right, and I was reading romantasy.
There's nothing wrong with romantasy. Listeners, if you read romantasy, tell Catfish why he's wrong.
I do have to say, as I was reading the series, there was a lot of like very detailed like sex acts that I
Oh,
just
yeah.
kind of skipped because as someone who's in my later years, I don't really want to read about sex acts between people who are like teenagers.
100%. 110%. So Carol is a wonderful contradiction. She's like, oh, I don't like my fans. I don't like my books. But when it's like when she and her partner slash possible wife, I'm not sure that was too clear, Helen, or, like Helen's looking at things and Carol's like, okay, what's the review? What's it say? What's it say? So Carol does care about what other people think. And what's funny
I
is
mean, she makes Helen move her books up
right
at
to
the
the top,
airport, which
to the
which,
top,
which was
not on the bottom
also
shelf,
a
to the
very
top
funny
shelf.
bit. Yeah. She gives her a little like over there.
And so she does care. But one thing people have pointed out of,
Hmm.
based on this little, pre-world changing event, Carol really just has kind of one person in her life, and that person didn't survive. So, unlike a lot of the people she meets in episode 2, she doesn't have another connection. She doesn't have a reason to be very careful about anybody else because the most important person and seemingly the only person that she really felt a deep connection with has passed. And it was a brutal
That's
passing.
that is a great point, and also, I mean, people can think about how episode 2 ends, and maybe how that's going to change.
Well, we will see. We will see. We will see. I talk about how this first episode just I could appreciate it, but not become engaged. Let me say that once again, it is competently made, thrillingly made. It just was a bit cold, like her racing in, trying to get Helen into the ER, and it's by
Oh,
this point you already know that there's no point. Like by this point you're like there's no point. And so then the doctor waking up and kissing her there. So, sometimes it's kind of these, like you were saying earlier, it could be like kind of laughs about, hey, let me smooch you. This doctor kissing her. And then kind of, I'm pretty sure he was the one who said, we just want to help Carol. Creepy zombie terribleness. Oh,
whoa.
she goes home. This is an Apple TV show. You and I, everybody knows Apple TV. The one thing they do is they spend a lot of money. This entire cul-de-sac where Carol's house is and the neighboring houses, it's all fake. It was all built. They built, they
Wow.
built the road, they planted the grass. They did all of this for the show. And
Now,
all these trips, all
yeah.
these trips in episode 2, a lot of those trips were filmed on the actual location. And there was some CG in these shows, and you can kind of tell. But like when they go to, when they go to have a beautiful European escape, they film that in Europe. Apple TV throwing money at the wall. Love it.
But this has got nothing to do with that. But just as an aside here, when she's driving home, the whole time, the way that it's framed, at least I thought Helen was going to pop up at some
Oh,
point
I kind of thought that
and
it
be a
too. I thought that it
zombie.
too. I
And
thought that it
so
too.
it was a kind of a slow realization for me that she was actually dead. I thought, okay, she's going to come back a little bit later. And
No,
so I thought that
the
was
way
well
it's
done.
the way it's framed with, constantly being able to see, out the back window of the pickup
Hmm.
truck. And we know that Helen is in the bed. I'm with you. There was a lot of times I thought, oh my goodness. So, this show is juggling tones. Those kids, the neighboring kids who come
Oh,
over and tell Carol how to get into her house, the kids can always be creepy, and these kids were creepy. Oh my God. Great work, kids.
There's nothing that Mrs. Catfish and I
Oh,
love
really?
more than creepy kids in a horror movie. They're the best.
Just terrible. Okay, so now we want to know the show once again is just hurtling forward. We want to show that the whole world, Millie, everybody in the neighborhood is telling her, "We're sorry for your loss, sorry for your loss." Carol goes into her house. She's turning on the TV. And all the TV channels are down except one, and it's got a phone number on
Yeah,
it.
she's relieved, thank God, for just about 20
And,
seconds.
who's ever creating the lower third Chiron graphics, Carol, we're ready. You can reach us at this number. No, no pressure. No pressure. We know you've got questions. Oh my God. And then this wonderful soap opera actor, I'm pretty sure he's on the American soap opera, The Young and the Restless. Undersecretary, what was he the undersecretary of? He was a perfect zombified, creepy, smiley politician.
Look,
Incredible.
Bubba, he
Yeah.
fit two very important qualifications. He was nearby and he had a suit on. Uh,
Please know that none of that was intentional. You have our deepest condolences. We will
mhm,
put things
mm.
right. Oh my God. He's the one who, doth protest too much. It's not an alien invasion.
Mm,
We are not reading your mind. We is us, just us. Whoa. Oh,
mm.
oh. Catfish, how about this? Would you want to be Carol, or would you just say, it's over. We've lost. Humanity's lost. The end. Just go ahead and give me the psychic glue, and I'll become, a zombie.
Okay. Well, first of all,
Yeah.
again, I feel like this show and Severance is talking about it, but it is the fear. At least I have the fear of ego death, right? You think about Western civilization, it's the Western religions, right? It's not that we join with some mighty one universal being. We think about like we're going to be here in our young bodies, flitting around in heaven, and everyone's going to be there, but we're still going to be ourselves. So I don't want to give that up. I'm afraid that I might end up like your boy Kumba, at least for a little while.
Okay, well, we'll get to him when we get to episode two. This
Okay.
episode, Rude Carol hangs up on somebody. We will figure out what makes you different so we can fix it so you can join us. Carol, once you understand how wonderful this is, she hangs up. We only want to make you happy. Oh my God.
Now, what's
Horrific.
crazy is they describe it as
Horrific.
sort of a virus. I can't remember whether I think they do that in episode two. But if it is a virus, this is the most potent virus we could think of, right? 11 people didn't succumb to it out of, you're almost like one in a billion
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
not succumb to it.
Well, maybe there's a chance more people didn't succumb to it, but they died in the destruction that happened when everybody has those. What do you want to
Oh, it's a
call
good point.
what do you want to call those moments where people kind of the blackout moments where people kind of lose consciousness almost, or their dare I say it, it's like their consciousness is shaking because
Let's
it's
call
being
it the
uploaded, uplinking.
can we call it the alien dance party?
Dance, dance, dance. Oh, I mean, Carol walks into the bar and the waitress is trying to keep those drinks up. Oh my God, so good. Even though the first episode didn't hit with me. So, so good.
But
Oh
now you
man.
see why you were wrong about that one.
Uh, I'm in. You ready to move to episode two, Catfish?
Let's do it, Bubba.
Okay, in episode two, we follow this character who at times, this is what's so crazy. We follow this character at times who's called Raban because she's like the female Raban, the Raban Carol really wanted her originally her book, her Winds of Wakaro book series to be a female romantic hero, I guess, or
Yeah, until
right,
she decided she
with
wanted to make
sales, right?
money and not have to be niche. But what's fascinating about Raban slash Zosia
Yeah,
is when we first see her, it's this really interesting we see the coordination of this one soul, the different parts of this one soul, right? Because we go from them cleaning up bodies, and then she gets someone who is cleaning up the bodies is on the moped. She gets on the moped. She's in a plane. She barely really has good knowledge of exactly how much runway distance she needs because she barely clears that.
She
Uh,
just knows. They just know these are, every pilot in the world knew that she would be fine, right? Because she has all their knowledge, right?
She has all their knowledge. She goes in, she gets cleaned up, and again, they're all working as one organism. And Bubba, I'm going to be honest here. Sometimes I'm not playing my stupidity. When she showed up at Carol's, it took me a long time to realize that that was that person that we had been tracking. But basically, they moved the one person in the world that looks the most like the female Raban to deal with Carol. And that is frightening.
100%. So once again, I need to know more. I'm not willing to say I know yet, but this person who's in a different country, yeah, yes, we're doing it to get Carol to join us,
Mm-hmm.
Carol.
Mm-hmm.
But did that person, before all hell's gone loose, if you had told that person, hey, would you like to meet somebody, an intelligent writer who would be interested in someone like you? Before it all went crazy, do you think this woman would have said, oh, okay, sure, let's do it? Or
This
is
is
this entirely driven because the alien slash hive mind wants Carol happy and one of them?
this is just all about the hive mind. But you see sort of the behind the scenes,
Hmm.
right? And that's
Yeah.
what's cool about the beginning of this episode. You see them all working seamlessly together. They don't need to communicate. You don't communicate with yourself. They're working all seamlessly together. They're not an individual being. They are just using the best tool that they have to reach Carol. And what's interesting here is they are, you could easily believe that they are a force for good, right? Because they're trying to appeal to Carol. They're not going to kill her. So they really do have that, even though it appears to be misguided, but who doesn't have sort of morals that they live out that sometimes they work against those, but they're not going to kill her. But they're very insistent that she join them. Even when she ends up killing a lot of the parts, again, they're just appendages. We would see what happened if she went after the entire hive mind.
Yeah.
They might change their mind. But so far, they're being as open with her as they can.
You are Carol. You love Helen. You loved Helen.
Hmm.
You want her buried in the backyard of the house you shared. The evil force that is responsible for Helen's death is like, hey, we'll help you bury her. This is a real slippery slope. Do you accept help from the cause of your love's death? I mean, that is, like you really, let's be honest. Carol really couldn't take a pickaxe and really dig a proper grave in any capacity. That wouldn't take, weeks. So was Carol right to accept it, or should she have said, F you, aliens, I'm doing this on my own?
I mean, she did, but she kind of gives in a little bit, right? She eventually gives in. Once again, part of it is sort of her humanity again, where which also causes her to be upset when she finds out how many of the meat sacks that she killed, whereas
Those
I
meat
would have
sacks
been
have
like,
names,
great.
Kev.
They did have a name. Now their name is We Is Us.
Good. Weezus.
We Just.
Here's my cousin Weezus. All right, so Carol does, I think she is right to say, hey, put me in touch with the other people. I think it was a bit odd that she only wanted to talk to the English speakers. I think you want to get everybody together. You
Well,
know,
here's her concern, right? She still doesn't trust them, so she's
okay.
not going to trust that they would be able to translate correctly.
All right. Fair enough. Yeah.
But also, yeah, you're right, it's racist.
Hey, it's speeches. Especially, how about this? Once you meet the other English speakers and you know
Hmm.
they know a lot of other languages, then why not say, hey,
Yeah, I agree.
get us all together? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't trust anybody else to translate, but wait a minute. Seemingly every other speaker there knew at least one other language. And so then I think I would be like, yeah, let's roll. Get
No,
them here. Let's get them
I
here.
agree with you. I agree with you. And especially after she's met these five,
Yeah, and they
she
are
doesn't.
immediately unhelpful.
They are immediately unhelpful in a way that now I know, what you said earlier is that, she has lost Helen, and these other people still have their significant other slash family, but it's hard for me to believe that they don't recognize what they've become. Do you think they're lying to themselves, or,
Well,
or what's
the
the
hard
deal?
part is that, once again, let's go to Lakme, and I believe that's her name, the character's name, and she has a son. That son still has all his memories. Does he have all still have all his emotions and the emotional connection to those memories? So you say he's a zombie, but somewhere amongst all the billion people that are
I
sharing
don't
his
say he's a
mind,
zombie. I want
well,
to be
I'm sorry.
careful.
You know what I mean.
Right. Right.
In
He's
other
got
words, somewhere
because
among
zombies don't
the
think. There's a hive mind. Yeah, right.
amongst the hundreds of millions of people in his mind is also my son. Is what she's thinking. And so this is just crazy. This is just mm.
Right. So I guess there's the difference that I didn't sort of articulate earlier is that I don't believe they're still in there. They've just absorbed all their memories. So I guess that's where I am, and those people aren't there yet. At least Lock Me's not. I mean, there's a different things going on with the four people that are different than what's going on with your hero, Kumba. He's just decided, that this is essentially his own nirvana.
The world is screwed. You've said it. Humanity's done for. So do you blame his behavior? Why not? Why not just to hell with it? The whole world is screwed. I guess if I'm gonna have to, if I'm gonna survive, however many more years that I'm gonna survive, but or 6 more weeks until they take over my mind, why not just live like a god and have some fun? I don't know. Why are you so tough on this hero?
I guess because I don't mind him enjoying the spoils of Air Force One, but
Correct.
the other stuff feels a
Yes.
little date rapey to me.
No, 100%. That's what, but it also to me feels like a bit like I think there could be some reveals that these people do have some sort of agency. And if these people do have some sort of agency, then I'm going to be like, okay, maybe it's not as
Well,
date rapey
that's
as it seems.
not,
I hope that's true. If
but
if
that's not what Zosia says. She says, we're just your happiness makes us happy. So it just feels like, I mean, I guess that's agency. I don't know. It's a tough call as far as whether that's agency or not.
right, well, I'm just saying that if a joined person can say, I don't want to be put on display and a, a doll for this idiot, then I'll be okay with it. But if they don't have that ability to say, once again, it's a bit like my example earlier where I said, hey, we all know that we need to clean up these bodies for sanitation, for the good of society, yada yada yada.
Right, right,
But
right.
if you're one of the joined and can't say, I don't want to, I know we need to do it. I just can't do that particular task because because I don't like being around dead bodies, whatever it is.
Again, to me, I guess it's like it's a hive mind that is just sort of operating through these bodies. So, I mean, I guess they're already gone. It's still, yeah. I guess I'm hoping we're gonna find out more about this because this, like you said, they've got a second season already ordered. We've got 7 more episodes this season, so this is going to be something we're going to find out more about.
Now, I don't want to jump ahead even past this episode, but am I correct? There was one more English speaker who declined to join, right? Wasn't that it? I'm pretty sure. Like Carol said, "Hey, I want to meet everybody," and one of the English speakers said, "No, I don't want to go to this." I think that's true. And
Okay.
if that's true, then maybe there is somebody there for Carol. We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, we know who might be there for Carol because your boy Kumba's like, hey, I've been hanging out with Zosia, and you don't mind if I take her to Vegas, right? We're gonna go to Elvis Presley's haunted suite,
Wow.
and that brings up the discussion that sort of we've alluded to is sort of, where we get more interesting information about what this hive mind thinks. We don't want to hurt anybody. Pleasing you makes us happy. And Cal's like, well, do whatever. If your thing is like this dude, fine, do it. But then the end of the episode is Carol in front of Air Force One. She's gonna save her pirate lady, I guess.
You
And
think so? Yeah.
yeah, that's what you think.
That's
So that's
what you assume.
right, all right. So that's how we're ending episode 2. So of course, Bubba,
Yeah.
we've got to do another segment
Segment.
on this great podcast called
Hi, Carol.
Hi.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol. Hi,
We're gonna
Carol.
call it Skinsuit of the Week, our Hive MVP. And Bubba, that's who I've got to pick. I've got to pick Zosia. She's got all the skills. I mean, I guess all the Hive Mind has all the skills, but she's my MVP Hive member the first 2 episodes because she gets to fly a plane, hang
Yeah.
out with Carol,
Yeah.
and is great at square roots. What about you, Bubba? Who is your Skinsuit of the Week?
We're talking about somebody who is part of the hive mind
That's correct. That's correct.
or somebody who is like taking advantage of the hive mind. Carol is trying to fight the hive mind her way, which is, getting people killed. Or you could try to fight them, kill them with kindness. Kill this with Kuba. He is the hero. Diamante, he is the best. And so because he made me laugh so much, because this actor has such a wonderful smile and he's so alive in the eyes, he is going to be my hive mind fighter of the week.
Love it. Love it. All right. And Bubba,
Yeah.
this is
Hi, Carol.
this
Hi,
show
Carol.
also
Hi,
kind of
Carol.
reminds
Hi,
us of Silo, where
Yes.
it's on Earth, but their circumstances are different. So of course we've got to do something that we do similar to the Silo, and this game is called Pluribus or US. US. Based on this week's episode, where would you rather live? And Bubba, I'm going to start off.
Yeah.
This alien takeover would never occur in the
Never.
US
Never.
because we have decided that scientific research isn't worth funding because what has science ever done for us, Bubba? So obviously, I would rather live in the US based on the first 2 episodes. What about you, Bubba?
No. I'm for science funding, so I want to live in Pluribus land.
Okay. All right.
They did
All right.
it. We
Now-
did it.
Listen, loyal listeners, tell us based on these first 2 episodes, would you rather be Pluribus or
Hi,
US?
Carol. Hi, Carol.
And now, Bubba,
Hi, Carol.
Yeah.
Hi, Carol.
we are
Hi, Carol.
so happy. We love our double L's,
Double L's.
loyal listeners, because
Oh.
they make this podcast by providing us feedback that we love to read because they are more intelligent,
Yes.
better looking, and
Yes.
funnier than we are. And so
Join
basically, here's some feedback on episode 1 and 2. First of all, a great loyal listener, Meso Cat. That is
Yes.
Meiso Cat at Blue Sky.
Yes.
Meso says, we've only seen the first episode so far. I think it's hilarious how the show is using current real life conspiracies like chemtrails and RNA reprogramming in its plot. The ending credits, LOL.
Yeah. So in the ending, whoops, excuse me. In the ending credits, they have this graphic that comes up that says this show was made by humans. And obviously, this is a big thing with a lot of writers certainly don't want their scripts kind of out there in the internet where maybe an AI could take them and use them as kind of learning to write their own scripts. And so made by humans. But as I said to our good friend Laura, I said, hey, that's exactly what they want us to think. Those AI robots. Hey, Catfish, a true long time, maybe one of the longest time loyal listeners, Link Hogthrob, who's at Link Hogthrob on Blue Sky, they wrote, this show, Pluribus, amazing focus on the psychological and versus the mysterious. The great Rhea Seahorn, free will versus the greater good. Can't wait to see how the pacifist approach works with insects and animals when the apex predator doesn't act as such. Carol is, what does he try to say here? What does Link try to say with it? Is trash? Carol is something with a conscience whose whims have widespread consequences. Whoa. Whoa.
All right, another loyal listener, Gen X Cat Mom at All Mod Cons with a Z at Blue Sky says 8 out of 10 double H.
Double H's.
Hijacked hive mind.
Oh.
Great story premise, art direction, etc. Except for Carol. She's a bitch.
Ouch, man! People are tough on Carol. What's going on? What did Gen X Cat Mom say? This is cold.
I think she's mean and unappealing. Worse than Juliet in Silo. I loved her on BCS, so it's not the actress. Intriguing show, but it'd be nice to like the main character. And I'm just going to say to Gen X Cat Mom, I want you to think how much more you would dislike me, because unlike Carol, I wouldn't care how many of those MFers I killed. And I want you to think about it. I also want you to think about this.
Yeah.
Like Bubba said, Carol has lost the one person that matters in her life. So listen, Gen X Cat Mom, I'm going to agree to disagree with you here. I really feel for Carol and think she's handling this a lot better than I would.
Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, wait, she just gave us new feedback. Gen X Cat Mom says, Catfish is a B. Oh, wait.
I love it.
Hey,
I love it.
Our final bit of feedback is from another wonderful, longtime loyal listener, Camille, who's at Camshay23 on the app known as Threads. They wrote, these first 2 episodes, they were so good. It's like a double C.
Double C.
Crazy concept. I can't wait to see how the season goes. Side note, seeing, quote, Jack Abbott was fun. Woo-hoo-hoo. Catfish. Isn't Jack Abbott? I think he's the young and restless character, that actor. I think so.
Yes, he was. All right, Bubba. Next week's episode is called Grenade.
Ooh.
The world just wants to help, which infuriates Carol. A heart-to-heart conversation ends with a bang.
Uh-oh.
Bubba, my name is Catfish. You can hit me up at G to the man, GEETOTHEMAN on Instagram and Blue Sky. And remember to contact us at Double PHQ on all the social medias. Bubba, how do people get in touch with you?
I'm on most social media at the handle Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRAM at Fit and Trim on social media. Join us.
It's a pun.
Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol.
Go to hell.
Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol.
Catfish, you could be one of the 8 million. Carol, take care of him. But we want you to join us next week on
Hi, Carol.
Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol.
Let's try it one more time. Really sync. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Carol.
Say it a bit faster. 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Carol.
Gold. By the final episode
it sounded off.
I said
to
gold.
Me. The first one sounded more right to me. I don't know. There's some sort of whatever.
Thanks a lot,
Okay,
Zoom.
all that matters is what it sounds like to our loyal listeners.
That's for sure.
All
Join
11
us.
of them.
Join
Carol.
us.
Hi, Carol.
Join
Hi,
us.
Carol. Hi, Carol. Hi, Carol.